views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily the views of ECTV News, the City of East Chicago, nor this broadcast station or website. ECTV airs public meetings as a service to the community it serves. Speakers at public meetings, broadcast, or posted by ECTV News are solely responsible for their comments. ECTV News reserves the right to edit or remove any profanity or abusive language or behavior deemed inappropriate for our viewing audience. If you have any comments or suggestions about this program, contact ECTV News at 219-391-8206.
Call to order the regular scheduled council meeting for Monday, April 28, 2014. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos.
Present.
Battle.
Present.
Vasquez.
Present.
Cuevas.
Present.
Orange.
Present.
Maldonado.
Present.
Parks.
Present.
Franciski.
Present. I have a motion to accept the minutes for the public hearing and the regular scheduled meeting for Monday, April 14th, 2014.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Parks, seconded by Councilwoman Orange. Do you have any questions on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Abstain.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Maldonado.
Abstain.
Parks.
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes. Do we have any communications from the mayor?
No.
Any communications from department heads?
Yes. Accounts payable 040914 CC.
So moved. Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Cuevas, seconded by Councilman Santos, to accept accounts payable warrant 040914 CC.
So moved.
Have any questions on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Maldonado.
Yes.
Arnold.
Abstain.
Parks.
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes.
Did you get your package?
Madam Clerk, can you put for the record that we do have Councilwoman Arnold here in attendance?
Accounts payable 042814 LA.
So move, Mr. President, to accept the accounts payable warrant 042814 LA. Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Santos, seconded by Councilman Cuevas, to accept accounts payable warrant 042814 LA. Any questions on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Maldonado.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes.
Accounts payable 042814 CC.
So move.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Parks, seconded by Councilman Battle, to accept accounts payable 042814 CC. Do you have any questions on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Maldonado.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes.
Payroll warrant 041114.
So moved, Mr. President. Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Vasquez, seconded by Councilwoman Maldonado, to accept payroll warrants 041114. Do I have any questions on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos,
Yes.
Battle,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Cuevas,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
Maldonado,
Yes.
Arnold,
Yes.
Parks,
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes.
Chief Mark Becker.
Good evening. I've handed out what is our final version of the goals and objectives that we had set forth for the police department early last year. This is the reporting, if you will, of how well we did or how well we didn't do, depending on how you look at it. I'm not going to go through the whole thing with you. Certainly, if you have any questions, feel free to contact my office. I'll be glad to sit and meet with you and discuss any concerns that you might have. I will just highlight a couple of things. In 2011, East Chicago was deemed, according to the FBI's uniform crime reports, as the most dangerous city in Northwest Indiana on a per capita basis. In 2012, we reduced the crime rate in East Chicago, and we continued a downward trend in 2013. In fact, the total number of crimes that we reported to the FBI in 2013 are the lowest that I could find in the history of the city, going back to 1995. So we don't have any records prior to that. So I can represent to you with certainty that these are the lowest crime figures this city has had since at least 1995. So we've rewound the clock basically 20 years. Overall crime was down 6% last year between violent crime and property crime. So it was a good year for us, I think. I do cite the terrific work by the members of our police department, both the support and all the officers from patrol to detectives. We had asked our officers to increase their police presence last year in the forms of aggressive traffic. We didn't ask them to write more tickets. We didn't care if they wrote tickets, but we wanted to see more police out there. 2012, we stopped a little bit over 3,700 cars. Last year, we stopped 10,600 cars in this city, so it was a 185% increase in the amount of traffic activity that the officers self-initiated, which I think dramatically impacts and is the reason why our crime is lowest in some 20 years, because people know that the police department's very, very active and out there. I had asked you to back the STOP team program. You did. You asked for regular reports. I've tried to get you that on a monthly basis. The yearly reports for the STOP team are on page 3, which goes from April 12th through the end. You can see they made over 1,100 traffic stops, well over 200 arrests, recoveries of drugs and guns and things of that nature that you'd expect them to do. So I'm very pleased with their productivity. That team served as the basis for the formulation of what's known as the Region STOP team, which started in September as a result of local chiefs' concern as to increasing violence in the area and how we could collectively come together to deal with that. So we have a very unique program where we have a full-time representation from Hammond, Lake County, Gary, and East Chicago. Anywhere from 10 to 20 officers meet 5 days a week at our police department and go out and patrol Hammond, Gary, and East Chicago. Those who don't want us out there never know when we're going to show up or what hours a day we're working, which I think has added to our effectiveness. So in roughly 4 months, they had nearly 600 traffic stops, responded to like 200 suspicious events, and made almost 150 arrests. We did partner with IUN, and I would offer to any of you, if you have any concerns in your district where you would like to know what the crime looks like on certain streets, we can bring that up rather quickly based on our relationship that we have with Dr. Ferrandino at IUN and the graduate class students over there. We hope to bring that to a website so that you can just then go to our website and type in an address, and it'll give you an idea what the crime looks like in the last week, the last month, the last year, however far you want to go back. We're working on that and hope to have that very soon for you. We did recently request a $10,000 transfer of funds from our machinery and equipment to education. I'm a huge supporter of continuing education. We need to continue with what we're doing. We did, in the last 2 years, provide nearly 7,000, a little bit over 7,000 hours in continuing education to our officers, and I think a well-educated police department acts smarter, is more professional, and less prone to getting hurt and to lawsuits. So we have undertaken that. And then finally, I look for your input. We will be walking the streets again. Neighborhoods, we'll probably do about 7 or 8 neighborhood walks as we've done for the last 2 years, meeting at like 5:30. So if you want us to walk a particular section of the city, certainly you're free to join us, but even if you don't want to join us and you just want us to walk, we'll come out at least 8 times this summer to do it. And then finally, I would bring to your attention, this past Friday, we had several officers present at the Avalon Banquet facility for the Region or District 1 award ceremony. They carry out awards from anything from just doing your job right to above and beyond to life-saving to Officer of the Year awards. We had some 26, 27 police officers recognized for their efforts that day. It was really a great day for East Chicago. We brought in about 18 or 19 police officers that collectively had been responsible for almost 5,200 traffic stops and 1,600 arrests, just that group alone. Detective Jose Velez was acknowledged for his fine work and professionalism that he brings to the Detective Bureau. Every member of the Region Stop Team was recognized for their efforts. And then finally, I think there's only a handful of people who ever received this. Investigator Brian Michael Payne, who's assigned to the ATF, was co-winner of the Officer of the Year award for Lake and Porter County. It's a remarkable accomplishment. He had teamed with ATF and dealt with a federal indictment regarding the the Imperial Gangster gang that had been responsible for some 14 homicides over 12 years. 24 people have been federally indicted, 23 have been convicted, and the last remaining one is facing a death penalty in federal court probably next year. So I think it's been a great year for the police department. I thank you for all your support. Again, if there's anything any questions that you have on my report, feel free to contact me. If there's any other issues that arise, I hope I remain readily available to all of you and been responsive to whatever needs you've had over the last 2 years. And we'll continue to do that.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, thank you.
Next, I believe we have Marino Slurl from the Park Department. I believe one of the council requested his presence concerning some of the new park equipment being installed.
Good afternoon. My name is Marino Solorio. You should have received in your mailboxes a flyer that stipulated all the improvements for all the parks. I'm here to answer any questions that you have in regards to any of that. So I guess
Councilman Santos?
I'm sorry, what was your name again, sir?
Marino Solorio.
Solorio?
Yes.
Solorio. And I think after speaking with the council president in regards to, like, the park here in the first district, this Saturday they were taking down some of the equipment, and I had I didn't even know they were doing that. I got a couple of people that called, and I was fortunate enough to call the council president. He did tell me what was going on, but as you move forward in doing these parks, and I know we received something in the mail, and that was after the fact, but I think that, I'm sure the park board had gotten together and they had put their minds together in receiving the park equipment or asking for what they wanted in these parks. And it kind of seems like they've been planned for quite some time. And for the city council to be getting letters after they were already initiating the program, you put us behind the 8 ball, because I was getting phone calls asking, hey, what are they doing at Top Park?
Right.
And I really didn't know. I says, I don't know. They said, well, all the equipment's gone. I'm like, well, what do you mean all the equipment's gone? Well, they took it all out. And for a good reason. I mean, they're going to put new stuff there, but we didn't know. And there is a problem there when there's no communication between the board and the city council, because we ultimately represent the people. So all I ask is that as you move forward, and whatever you guys are going to be doing in the park, prior to you putting it out there or doing what you're going to do, let the council know so that we're informed. So when they call us and say, hey, red flag, they're taking all this stuff, we can say it's because they're bringing you new stuff.
Okay, noted.
Councilman Cuevas?
Just real quick, I had a parent called and asked a good question. I thought, with these new parks that you're going to rebuild, what are the fillers you guys going to use? Is that going to be like wood or non-flammable rubbers? They were concerned if rubbers, they were hoping it would be like something like in a rubber type form.
The filler, you're discussing the surfacing?
Yes, where the kids are going to play along, inside the swings and all that.
The surfacing, okay. The actual surfacing is a rubber material, but it's not your rubber mulch. What it is, it's pretty much caked on like cement. You know, if someone was to pour cement and then they level it off and it hardens, same thing except this is rubber and it's kind of like a sponge material. So one, it's ADA compliant, and two, it provides the best safety in terms of when a kid, falls or, anything like
That
that.
was the concern, yeah.
It's actually the best out there right now. So
Non-flammable too, by
it is nothing's ever non-flammable,
yeah.
but it is fire resistant, yes. So no, someone can't just grab a lighter and try to turn on, it doesn't work that way.
Okay, thank you.
Unlike the mulch, like the rubber mulch, you can, but this no.
Or the wood mulch, we had problems with that.
Yes,
People
that
lighting
too.
that up. So that was a concern. Okay, thank you.
Councilwoman Orange?
No, in fact, he met me out at the park. I had my concerns. We went through the park. And, because he did come to the workshop, Councilman Santos, so, and I know you work days now, so you weren't able to make it, but he did. And so we met up at the park, and he went through my concerns.
Okay. Any other questions? Councilman Santos?
Mr. Solero, when is this, when is it going to be finalized, all the parks? Or are you doing like park at a time, or are you going to do?
We're doing 8 parks right now that are going to be done hopefully by Memorial Day weekend. So they'll be ready to go Memorial Day weekend. I think that was the target time frame so that, people would, although they see the playground out, they'll be able to play with it once the equipment got in. Some of these things, like the shelters and the fitness equipment, it may be a week after that, but the time frame is generally there. I would say probably a month for everything to be completely finalized from the Memorial Day weekend.
And this is last thing. I know last year we talked about at the parks, and I spoke with the president of the council, and he's delivered the message. But I want you to know, so you can take this back, that let's prepare ourselves in case we have a heat wave, or the weeds. Because last year we had weeds growing out that park. That we had Mr. Rosado at that time up here, and we told him about that weed. So now's the time to start preparing for that, because we're going into the summer, and if we have a heat wave, I don't know what your plan is in regards to making sure we get water to some of these parks that don't have sprinklers, because if not, you're going to put all that beautiful equipment with yellow dead grass. And I'm not worried about them lighting the equipment on fire. I'm worried about the grass getting caught on fire. Okay. So let's just get a plan so that we know that we're ready, just in case.
I will let whoever the corresponding person know. I was actually just hired to do the consulting work for the actual park. So what I looked at was what was not working at the parks, what is, and then what are the improvements following their 5-year park plan that was approved by the park board. And so this is taking that plan and actually putting some of those things to fruition. But I will let them know.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
We have any committee reports? We'll move on to board reports. First person we have up is Judy Nava, Redevelopment Board.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
No.
First of all, thank you for my appointment. Right now, redevelopment is working on redoing their homeownership program. There were part of the process wasn't user-friendly for the staff or the homeowners, so they are working on making some modifications to that. There's a public hearing scheduled for the Suppliers Park next Tuesday here at the council chambers at 5 o'clock, and they're hoping to get the declaratory resolution passed that day. And also, redevelopment has submitted to HUD an application for a new management company for the Harborside Apartments, and we're just waiting to hear that. And that's really all I have right now. Any questions?
Any questions from Ms. Nava?
Ms.
Councilwoman
Nava, Can you find out the program that redevelopment has that they allow, that people can put in a grant to get the roofs fixed, if they have fallen concrete or whatever? Can you find out why, what's the holdup with that process? And someone told me the other day that it's like a 3-year waiting list. I mean, if you got damage to your roof or something, or the city has cited you, 3 years is a long time to wait to apply for that grant if you don't have the money to be able to fix it. So it needs to be a better process. I know maybe they're working short, but there needs to be a streamlined process to be able to help the people down the line, because they're getting constant citations while they're waiting to get the grant. So if it takes 2 years, that's a long time, and it shouldn't, a grant shouldn't take that long. I mean, either you got the money or you don't.
Okay.
So could you find that out
Yes,
for
I
us?
can
Thank
find
you.
that out.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Kim Edwards from Urban Enterprise.
Good evening, council members.
Good evening.
I'd like to bring to your attention about four things that has happened since I've probably been here last. Most recently, we had a strategic planning meeting about 3 weeks ago. That was presented by Ellen Scarletta. She's a PhD at IUN and also a director there, as well as holds a a law degree. She presented, we went through a 3-part process of identifying our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, followed by revising our mission and vision statement. And so the last part of this is she's going to take all of our feedback that was presented by the board and present us a final document that we can take and work with that in order to make a better plan for the next 3 to 5 years. So we expect to get that in the next couple of weeks. The other thing I wanted to bring to your attention is we've had about 3 resignations from the board. I'm not sure, perhaps Councilman Santos can help me identify exactly who they are as far as their positions on the board, but they were Kathy Brown from Economic Development, Carmelo De Jesus, I believe he represented industry, and then James Strayer from Building and Trades. So we do have those vacant positions on the board. And then in September of this year, September 30th, you know that the board has, the offices of ECUEA has relocated to Main and Broadway, and that lease is up in September. So there is a property behind the ECUEA, the academy, that also belongs to ECUEA, and we're looking at remodeling that so that can house the offices for the staff there, and then we can have our regular meetings there. So there is a committee to kind of help to expedite that process, that the director will be going to this subcommittee to kind of help expedite this so we get that moving, so that we can have a place to meet and then be out of that building by September 30th. And then lastly, is the academy. Earlier this year, we had problems with sprinklers bursting because of the cold. I think there was a malfunction with the regulator for the gas leading into the building, causing the heat not to come on. So there was quite a bit of damage, but since then, there's been coils replaced, and there's been some inspections, and there's been some monitoring to try to help prevent those things from happening again. And I believe that concludes what I have to say.
Any questions? Councilman Santos?
Mr. Edwards, first of all, I want to thank you because I know that we went that Saturday at that strategic plan meeting, and that was, I believe that was above and beyond of what you do as a board member, and, you know, taking that Saturday out to go to a class for 8 hours and come together with a strategic plan as we move forward and with the urban enterprise. So thank you for that and for the work you do.
My pleasure.
Any other questions for Ms. Edwards? Thank you. Next, we have Henry Rodriguez for Waterway Board.
Good evening. Henry Rodriguez, council appointee to the East Chicago Waterway Management District. Dredging was supposed to have started last week, but I don't know if you're all aware of the incident that had happened on the 23rd. Because of that incident with the power lines and the barge, the dredging barge, dredging has been pushed back for about 4 weeks. That's what the barge was coming in for, to start the dredging. But because of the incident with the power lines, it's been delayed. There's an investigation between the Army Corps of Engineers and the contractors. They're waiting on parts for the crane. They're going to inspect the crane, recertify all the equipment. And we're just waiting on word what's going to happen, because I'm sure there's going to be representatives from the Army Corps. The representatives of the Army Corps of Engineers are at every meeting. And between the Army Corps of Engineers and the contractors who are hired by the Army Corps of Engineers, we don't hire them. The board does not hire them. That's the Army Corps of Engineers. There's probably going to be some retraining and discussions about that. So as far as the dredging is concerned, that's put off to probably next month sometime.
Any questions for Ms. Rodriguez? Councilman Santos?
Mr. Rodriguez, can you let us know in regards to the investigation that took place the other day? Because, as you know, that there was a lot of citizens in the first district that lost power in regards to that incident, and who's responsible? Make sure that doesn't happen again. I don't know if it fell on the Army Corps of Engineers since it was their barge trying to come in, or was it the guy that lifts the bridge?
Well, from my understanding, it was blamed on inattention. I guess the boom was still up. And so, of course, it's the first time how long they've been dredging. The last couple of years, the first time it's happened. So it's too bad that it affected the residents of the city, the first district. But, stuff happens, But yeah, I'll find out what's going to happen. I'll have something more, of course, from our next meeting, which is the third Wednesday of every month.
Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. Madam Clerk, any ordinances on first reading?
Yes, ordinance 14-0003, sponsor Councilman Robert Battle and Councilman Lenny Francisci. An ordinance reclassifying certain lands in the city of East Chicago for zoning purposes and amending ordinance number 2752 and Title 17 of the East Chicago Municipal Code, the zoning ordinance, and all maps, amendments, and additions thereto, and repealing all other ordinances in conflict therewith, rezoning a portion of the south side of Chicago Avenue concerning 4901 Alexander.
So moved on first and second reading.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Orange, seconded by Councilwoman Arnold, to hear ordinance 14-0003 on second reading. Any discussion on the motion? I believe we do have Mr. Morrisroe here.
And Mr. Pfefferman is also here.
And Mr. Pfefferman as well, the property owner. Come forward, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, this has been before you since sometime last summer. And the BZA had a hearing and brought it before you, and you approved it. However, Mr. Pfefferman has had problems financing it because of the temporary nature of a zoning change, of a zoning variance, and he's asked that it be actually a change in the zoning code, and that's what we brought back to you. I think he was here, if I'm not mistaken, within the last month and a half, and has since then gone before the Plan Commission, and the Plan Commission has considered it and is willing to rezone the property to a C1, which is commercial, and would allow on a permanent basis that be a restaurant.
Any questions? Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call to adopt ordinance 14-0003 on second reading.
Santos?
Yes.
Battle?
Yes.
Vasquez?
Yes.
Cuevas?
Yes.
Orange?
Yes.
Maldonado?
Yes.
Arnold?
Yes.
Parks?
Yes.
Francisco?
Yes.
Ordinance 14-0004, sponsor Mayor Anthony Copeland. An ordinance of the Common Council of the Civil City of East Chicago authorizing the transfer of appropriations within various city departments.
So moved on first reading, first and second reading.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Vasquez, seconded by Councilman Cuevas to hear ordinance 14-0004 on second reading. Do we have any discussion on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call to adopt ordinance 14-0004 on second reading.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Maldonado.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes.
Ordinance 14-0005, sponsor Mayor Anthony Copeland, additional appropriation ordinance.
So moved on first and second reading.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Vasquez, seconded by Councilman Battle to hear ordinance 14-0005 on second reading. Any discussion on the motion? Councilman Santos?
I see, is the HR representative here in regards to this, Mr. President?
Hello, my name is Sandra Favela. I'm the Interim Director for Human Resources.
If you can just give us a real quick breakdown of this.
This year, we're kicking off the Summer Youth Employment Program. It's for the students for ages 18 to 22. It's pretty similar it was last summer. They do need to be students. They have to be in school or show proof of transcripts that they'll be going to school over the summer and the fall. They have to show proof of two forms of IDs. One would be either a state ID, driver's license, and a school ID. Copy of their transcripts or report card, and proof of residency. They must be Chicago residents. We do have 112 positions. We are not including in the 112 positions the lifeguards in our lottery drawing because the lifeguards require certification. But we're very happy to distribute those applications from the week of May 19th to the 23rd. And the lottery drawing would be on the 27th of May. And then the program will be an 8-week program, which is in the years past, it's always been 7. So we kind of moved some numbers around, and we're able to do 8 weeks. So it starts June 9th, and it will end August 1st.
Mr. President, Sandra, when are you going to start accepting applications? When are you going to open the applications?
May 19th.
May 19th till?
That's a Monday, and May 23rd is the deadline for all documents before 4 o'clock. And at the request of Councilman Orange, I got the list of all the churches in the city of East Chicago. I just need to put them in an Excel sheet to get those out. I'm going to work with Steve to get a flyer.
Any other questions? Councilwoman Maldonado?
Sandra, very quickly, the federal grant you have allocated,
Yes.
where is that coming from?
Pleased to announce that Department of Redevelopment, we submitted our grant last summer, and we requested for $50,000, and we were awarded $68,917.
From the Department of Redevelopment?
Yes. So we actually got more.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Did you put in a grant for the Foundations of East Chicago?
I did ask our grant writer, Janet Cypra, if I was able to do that. I guess the city was working with other departments to deal with the foundations. So I guess the money they're requesting is quite a bit. So they're weighing out the options of who to request the money for. So no, not this year. I didn't put it through.
Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Favela.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, roll call to adopt ordinance 14-0005 on second reading.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Maldonado.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Franceschi.
Yes.
Mr. President?
Councilwoman Vasquez?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules to hear it on third and final reading.
So moved.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Vasquez, seconded by Councilman Cuevas to hear ordinance 14-0005, to suspend the rules, to hear it on third and final reading. Any discussion on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Maldonado.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Franceschi.
Yes.
Mr. President,
Councilman Santos?
move to adopt ordinance 14-0005 on third and final reading.
Second. Motion was made by Councilman Santos, seconded by Councilman Parks, to adopt ordinance 14-0005 on third and final reading. Any questions? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Maldonado.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Franceschi.
Yes. Madam Clerk, do we have any ordinances on second reading?
There's another ordinance on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
06.
It's ordinance 14-0006, sponsor Mayor Anthony Copeland, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of East Chicago, Indiana, concerning improvements by the Board of Sanitary Commissioners through the issuance and sale of bonds and other matters connected therewith.
Madam Clerk, I believe we have 15-0006.
Should be 14.
Okay,
I got 14.
just for the record then.
Yes.
Yeah, it says 15 on here.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Santos Cuevas and seconded by Councilwoman Orange to hear ordinance 14-0006. Was that on second reading?
Yes.
On second reading?
No.
Any
Still on first reading.
just on first?
Yep.
Any discussion on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call to adopt ordinance 14-0006 on first reading.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Maldonado.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Franceschi.
Yes. Madam Clerk, do we have any ordinances on second reading?
Yes. Ordinance 14-0002, sponsor Mayor Anthony Copeland, an ordinance authorizing an appropriation for the year 2014 to allow the purchase of park equipment.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Orange, seconded by Councilwoman Vasquez to hear ordinance 14-0002 on second reading. Any discussion on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Maldonado.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Franceschi.
Yes. Madam Clerk, any ordinances on third reading?
No.
Do we have any resolutions?
Yes. Resolution 14-0005, sponsor Mayor Anthony Copeland. A resolution pursuant to IC 36-7-14-16B, approving written order of the East Chicago Plan Commission as it pertains to the Plan Commission's approval of East Chicago Redevelopment Commission's resolution number 2014-RED-1470 as a declaratory resolution approved on April 1st, 2014, designating an area in the East Chicago redevelopment district as the supplier's business park economic development area, and approving the economic development plan for the supplier's business park economic development area, and IC 36-7-14-41C as the legislative body approval of a determination that a geographic area is an economic development area.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Orange, seconded by Councilman Battle. Do we have any discussion on the resolution? Councilman Parks?
Is there anyone here to speak on this?
Mr. Morrisroe? Do we have somebody here to speak on this?
My name is Julie DeMuth, and I represent the firm of Shanahan & Shanahan, and we are the bond counsel firm working with the issuance of the bonds after. This is the process is farther down. But if you have any.
And I'm Richard Morrisroe, the city planner, as before. This, as you know, is the former Union Tank property, and it's to be renamed. It's the same property. It's still zoned heavy industry as it had been, and is engaged with the city and with the Economic Development Commission in terms of some financing for that project, which I don't have the exact facts as far as the number of jobs, but there are a number of jobs that are stipulated for that. And the property has sat empty for about 5 years, and I think the city is generally proud that that the developer has come forward and is seeking to develop the area. I've met Ms. DeMuth through correspondence and phone conversation, but hadn't met her till tonight.
Any questions? Councilman Santos?
So, in order for there to be issued a bond, this is what we have to do? Is that what you're saying?
This is one of the steps. There's steps for the Plan Commission, steps for the Redevelopment Commission, steps for the Economic Development Commission, all of which perhaps.
Yeah, and then when the actual issuance will come before you again. This is way before that.
And that's just renaming
We're just remaining the area and then the
area.
plan.
the plan. Okay, so where's the plan?
It's both the area and the plan, this resolution that you have before you. There's an area and a plan. It's the same thing.
Perhaps you agree about the plan, the substance of the plan.
The substance of the plan.
Maybe Mr. Bauer can explain it since he was before us at our.
Attorney Bauer?
Attorney Stephen Bauer. In one of the committee meetings that we had, the developer as well as some other people came in and presented a drawing of their plans in the development of this about 50 acres. 50 acres that's in there. They're looking at smaller types of industrial development, literally building buildings and renting out. Their request was for this to be identified as an economic development area, because obviously that gives them bonding issues and also sets up the situation for them to request tax abatement. At the committee meeting we had, this really made some sense. And there are some drawings. I'm not sure. Steve, have you got?
No, they took them.
Did they take them back? Okay. But I think Christine was there, and so that's what they're looking at. That property's been, 10 years?
That long?
So the committee at that time was pretty excited about this.
Yeah,
Councilman Cuevas?
I just said, I was unfortunate not to be at these meetings, and I just wanted to ask, what kind of monies are we looking at as far as to redevelop that they're looking for? If you have that, if that's way ahead of the ballgame, I can understand.
No, we have it. I just don't have it with me.
I believe this piece is part of the financing. There's also money that the developer himself is investing and others. This is a piece of it that is tax exempt, and that because the federal law allows that tax exemption, provides an incentive for the developer to work with the city and with the different commissions that we're discussing to be part of that.
Councilwoman Maldonado?
For my colleagues and Mr. President, for those council members that were not at the committee meeting because of our schedules, and there are no additional information today, I don't know how we're supposed to vote on something that we have no information on other than what you're presenting right now with no additional information other than this resolution.
I would have been happy to bring other information or other people. I thought that through the committee meeting that you had that had been provided to you, if perhaps one of your own members would want to speak to it. If not, table it, continue it. I think, however, it has had a clock running that they've been trying to meet. Ms. Demuth can perhaps speak to that.
Excuse me, can I call Steve up, please? He's with Sender and Sender.
All right, let me parse the two issues at hand. Councilwoman, you make a good point. This resolution this evening has nothing to do with the bond outside the fact that it has to happen first. The numbers for the bond, the amount of money that'll be invested in the property, all will have to come to you for a future action of this council. What you're doing tonight is you're agreeing with the Plan Commission, that this is an area that falls within the economic development area and needs to be looked at for some type of plan. You're agreeing with your Plan Commission that they did the right thing. That's all you're doing tonight. The bond itself will come to you as a later action.
Okay.
Okay?
That's all. Okay.
Simple. Any other?
That's all we have to say.
Just one quick question, Mr.
Councilman
President.
Santos?
And as we move forward, Mr. Mosher, just make sure you have all the players in the game. Because, some of us, unfortunately, it's hard for me to make some of the committee meetings. My colleagues know it is, especially when we got jobs. So, when you come before the council, we're going to ask questions. When we see things like this, it's going to raise a red flag. Thank you to Steve and Mr. Bauer for answering the questions. I have no problem with it. But I just want everybody to be here in case within the last hour I may have a question or something may pop up in my mind. I just want all the players here so that we know what we're going forward.
Now, you do know the area we're talking about.
Yes.
Yes.
And see, the problem is that you see the audience today, there's a lot of people. They probably have no clue to what we're talking about. And our committee meetings are not aired or advertised. And I know there's been a lot of articles in the paper in regards to what they want to do. It'd be nice to show a plan for those people that are here tonight so they can see. Because we, as council members, are privy to getting those plans, but they're not.
I will try to see that those plans be brought before you for the next meeting.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Councilwoman Orange?
Councilman, I would be remiss if I didn't say this, and it's no reflection on you. On my job, I make about $32,000, and the meetings that I have had to go, I have lost $7,000 in pay to make sure I come to the committee meetings. Sometimes, we've tried to work around the schedule. I'm sure they didn't know you was working straight days now. And we was trying to make them so that you would be able to be here because that was a big concern. But we have to have the meetings when everybody's going to show up. It makes no sense to have meetings and you only have 2 people here. And that takes the people that are coming here to the committee meetings to make a decision to hear it, because you can't hear everything the night of council meeting. That's the purpose of the committee meetings, and you know that part of it. So, like I said, we try to make them, and we make them at 6 o'clock, it's not enough people to come to them. We make them at 10 o'clock, it's not enough people to come to them. So at some point in time, we either have to get in touch with our colleagues to see what's going on, or we have to find out when is a good time for everybody to be here, because there's no sense of having 2 people here at a committee meeting. No disrespect to you, because like I said, I didn't know you had started working days. But, that's what I'm saying.
No,
Councilwoman Vasquez?
No. Yeah, and just with all due respect, so that the members of the audience know that the our workshop committee meetings, when we invite these companies in to bring us their plans and do their presentations, those meetings are advertised by public notice. So I just wanted to make that point clear.
Councilwoman Arnold?
Not to beat this horse again, but I was at the meeting, but maybe Councilman, President Council, maybe we should ask when people bring, when they come before us at the committee meetings for cases like Councilman Santos, that they give us a little packet and leave it in their mailboxes so that they can have an opportunity to review it in between that council workshop and the council meeting. And then if they have any questions, they can directly contact that company. That'll kind of help, you know.
I think they did
to
give us a
eliminate.
booklet, but they didn't leave enough for.
Yeah, they have a pamphlet. And it's some beautiful plans, and I just would hate that we having this long discussion because that area needs it, the city needs it, and it sounds like a great opportunity for jobs for East Chicagoans. They're estimating about 400 jobs to come to East Chicago. So, like I said, I just recommend that maybe in the future, any people that come before us, that they have a little booklet that they leave with their information so that all council members can contact them between that council workshop and the council meeting. Thank you.
Councilman Santos?
And to my I wasn't inside, you know, like I said, if I don't know, I'm gonna ask questions. That's
Oh, I
what
know.
I'm doing. And as we move forward, I'm just saying that if they're gonna present the plan, if they can come here, because some of us weren't able to make it, you know, that'd be
I didn't want anybody to think we left you in the dark.
No.
Madam Clerk, roll call for Resolution 14-0005.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Maldonado.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes, resolution passes. Do we have any old business? Councilwoman Orange?
Vivian, she did send out the letters that I asked her about the signs and everything, and, you know, the only thing that we didn't put on there is that, a response from them. The response would be for them to take down the cigarette signs, but if they don't, a response why they won't. And, you know, we may have to do a follow-up letter with that.
Okay. That's
And
Dollar General?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe we have to send it to the corporate office for them. And also, Steve, she did find that law about the e-cigarettes through Indiana. I don't know if I'm not quite sure I'm interpreting it right, but I know that the federal law is now, they are now talking about it through the federal law, so that may be something I don't have to contact the legislator about, but I was going to give you this part of it to see what Vivian found for me, so.
Do we have any new business? Councilman Cuevas?
Yes, as my colleagues can see, and I'm glad to see a lot of the community of Marton are here today, and they're going to speak out on an ongoing issue with BP, and I hope that we give them a good ear and I try to understand their plight, and hopefully they'll present themselves in a good way tonight in reference to the problems that they've been incurring with the issue of BP and their properties. So that's all I wanted to add, that I'm glad to see the community come out and voice their concerns into this matter. And I hope the colleagues can, help or listen and see what we can come up with for a solution on this matter.
Do we have any other new business? Moving on to public expression. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes. First, we have Ms. Kimberly Rodriguez.
Good evening. I'm here speaking for Marktown and the residents. Marktown and BP have been neighbors for 97 years. We've always been good neighbors to each other. Before BP began rebuilding of their refinery 7 years ago, they came before the Common Council for tax abatement. The council president at that time promised a public hearing on that topic and the new refinery. BP talked to them in a special meeting which excluded the public from any input until the vote had been made. East Chicago was the only one of 3 cities to provide them with tax abatement for this project. In the fall of 2012, Jim Michaels, representing his family, approached BP about purchasing the properties owned by his family. All the properties except George Michaels' bar. I guess they want to keep that. In December 2012, BP Representative Tom Kyleman, said that he would have a meeting with Marktown residents in January 2013. That meeting never happened. This is our neighborhood and we want it restored, not torn down. If BP would help us reinvest in our neighborhood by using the proposed purchase price and the cost of demolition, all of Marktown could be restored. In 2006 and 2007, the residents of Marktown, along with the East Chicago Department of Redevelopment, the City of East Chicago, and all the various departments developed a Marktown revitalization plan. That plan has been ignored ever since BP moved forward with this project. We call upon the Common Council to pass a historic review board ordinance so that Marktown and the hundreds of other historic buildings in East Chicago can be preserved to reflect the unique heritage of East Chicago. 39 years ago, Marktown was placed on the National Register of Historic Places by the residents of Marktown in the City of East Chicago. It was also approved by the state of Indiana and the U.S. Department of Interior.
1 minute, ma'am.
That nomination was written by City Planner Richard Morrisroe, who once again serves in that capacity. It states, "We all learn from the past. One way to do this is through books, but a better way is to learn from real objects and places that came down to us relatively intact from another time. Marktown presents a living lesson in history and culture from the Pioneer Grove period of Calumet region. This region, which is America's industrial heartland, is quite young compared to other great regions of this nation. Sometimes in such areas, the concern for history is lost. But here there is the opportunity to preserve Marktown community as a living and useful landmark of genuine architectural and cultural significance for the Calumet region, the state, and the country. The Marktown area is an important culture resource which should be restored to accurately present the intentions of the original design. In conclusion, we are seeking the help of our City Council to delay the start of demolitions scheduled for May 5th, 2014 by BP for 90 days. BP had only provided impacted property homeowners 20 days to respond. This is not enough time to assess and respond adequately. We are now down to 7 days. In the past few days, we have collected over 1,500 signatures asking BP not to tear down Marktown properties. We believe there are several encouraging solutions. The passage of historic preservation ordinance, the monies BP has committed to buying out properties in Marktown and tearing them down and then repurposing the district could serve as a foundation for Marktown Revitalization Fund, following Marktown's revitalization plan. Legacy foundation funds that are meant to serve neighborhoods like Marktown. The East Chicago Redevelopment Commission has a grant program that Marktown residents could take advantage of to fix up their properties. Finally, several other possibilities could be explored once we open discussions. Kim Rodriguez, Precinct Committee Person.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Next, we have Juan Loreno.
I see my permission. I just wanted to give her more time if she needed it.
Mr. Thomas Frank.
I am Thomas Frank, 1616 East 142nd Street. I happen to be the president of redevelopment at the time that the Marktown redevelopment plan was adopted by the Redevelopment Commission. I also, last time I came before this council, was when BP announced or requested this council of a $164 million tax abatement. Now, I want to warn this council, that was done without a single public hearing, and it was done under the Economic Development Area initiative that you're looking at as a resolution for this development today. One of the hard facts about the $164 million that we incentivized BP to do this project with was that now BP is turning around 1 month after they've completed the project and are looking to tear down our historic district. I think we have to understand we can no longer cannibalize residential properties. 80% of East Chicago is zoned industrial. There's plenty of industrial properties, empty brownfields around BP. They don't have to go and destroy Marktown. We know that in February, BP held a Citizens Advisory Board. Our representative has never appeared there, the representative for East Chicago. We also know that Tom Kyleman at that meeting said he would and BP would follow anything that the mayor requested in terms of a plan. So we have an opportunity to revitalize East Chicago. We don't have to have the largest, most profitable industry in human history tear down one of the most financially impaired communities. Okay? That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Parks, seconded by Councilman Santos. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos?
Yes.
Battle?
Yes.
Vasquez?
Yes.
Cuevas?
Yes.
Orange?
Yes.
Maldonado?
Yes.
Arnold?
Yes.
Parks?
Yes.
Francisci?
Yes, thank you. Good night.
Here, Steve. We stayed at nice hotels.